Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome. First of all, welcome to the first Friday of September. Happy September 1st, everyone. If you're new here, just grab your smartphone for me. It's really easy. And just pull up your camera app. Just take a second and point over on that QR code there at the top right. Touch the yellow lips. You'll get my link tree, just as easy as that. If you are not watching me, but you're listening like an audio podcast, then go to believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And we have a great topic for you guys tonight. We're finishing up the master topic, which we started on last Saturday, and we're finishing up today on Friday. Here we go, everyone. Using robotic process automation to increase profits, Series 2, Show 35, Episode 7. The Series 2 means we're in the second year. And thank you, whether you're here at 9:20 p.m., 9:20 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 12 noon, 12 midnight, potato, whatever time you fit us in your schedule. I'm so grateful that you're watching us, whether that's live or whether that's on a replay. Thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's get into this. So we're talking about RPA, robotic process automation. But before I get into that, I am really excited because if you go to believemeachieve.com and you go to, there's somebody that says genuine food reviews. You go right there. You're going to see we have a few reels up right now. And if you scroll a little further down, you'll actually see the GFR Tours Pizza HQ in Woodland Park, New Jersey. Really cool. So check that out. We show you how they make pizza with RPA, robotic process automation. But not only that, ladies and gentlemen, go to believemeachieve.com. You know why? Because if you go down to John's, I'm just going to scan the QR code again here. If you go to where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th one, John C. Morley's recent articles. And you'll be able to catch my latest articles, which I think they're going to blow you away, because the one that I literally just published only an hour or so ago is a real hot one. This one is entitled, ladies and gentlemen, you ready? This one is entitled, Using Robotic Process Automation to Increase Profits. And I talk about how Pizza HQ did this, and definitely want to check that out because I think you guys will be really excited to read that. So talking about robotic process automation. So the most important thing to note when we're working with RPA is research. Kind of like if you're in real estate, it's location. Well, when you start any project, especially a robotic process automation project, research. Now, before you can actually get into doing the project, like actually implementing, there's a few other things you have to do. So you have to have a defined, repeatable manual process. Let's say that you wanted to build an RPA to, I don't know, let's say take some candies out of a bag and different bags and put them all together into a box and maybe put a special ribbon or picture on it. So you have to figure out how that works manually, right? How you would do that. And the thing you have to understand is that you have to get that process down, and it has to be repeatable. If it's not repeatable and you can't do it and you can't explain to someone else, well, you're never going to be able to program a machine to do that. So I think that's something that's going to be pretty amazing. And I will tell you that this is something that I feel is really incredible. So when we think about RPA, the other thing I want to share with you that's really important, and that is to remember not to use unstructured data. What the heck is unstructured data? Well, text, videos, pictures, things that don't have a structure. So even Google, if you don't put things in the right structure, it doesn't index you, right? So we have to make sure that we don't have unstructured data. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you have, a PDF document. And we all know that when we click on that PDF document, it's going to open up either Foxit, Adobe Reader, or some other portable document file reader. So when this happens, your computer, basically that data is unstructured, but because that PDF is assigned to something which says, oh, I know what to do with this. I know how to handle this type of data. Therefore, it's not unstructured anymore because we have a way to deal with it. When we don't have a way to deal with it, that can be a big mess and it can waste a lot of time and resources. So we're going to conduct a feasibility study. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to conduct. Now you might say, John, how do we conduct a feasibility study? Well, I'm not going to get into all the nuts and bolts with that, but the important thing is to understand how to do that. Not the why, but how do we? And how do we? It's not hard, but it does require some documentation. So you're going to do this feasibility study. You're going to come up with a new product or service, figure out where the business location is going to be. Maybe you're going to acquire new employees, make a major purchase. So perform a preliminary analysis. Okay, what's the goal? What benefits are going to come from achieving this goal once it's accomplished? Are there examples of this being done anywhere else that I can possibly look at or research? What are some of the risks of this action? What will happen that I should make sure takes place to ensure that the project will be successful? Create a study outline. Do I have the organizational structure in place to take this action? Do I have enough money and resources to do this? Do I have the right technology necessary to complete the project? Can I complete this project in a reasonable amount of time? Will this action benefit the organization? Has our competition done something similar? What are the laws I need to be aware of when taking this action? Conduct some market research. Conduct organizational research. Analyze your results. So that's the basic gist of it, okay? I wasn't going to get into the whole, nitty-gritty of it, but I did want to give you some ideas. People that don't do a feasibility study are doomed to fail. I'm sorry. You have to take the time to do this. So now, after you've done your research, you have down a defined, repeatable manual process that you can keep doing over and over again and getting the same results that you want. You can even teach it to someone else, explain it to someone else. Understanding that you're not using unstructured data, and if you were, you're putting it into some structured format. You've done your feasibility study. You start implementing, right? And you have to figure out what vendors, what you're going to do. So that's really part of that process. You test, you retest, and then you scale. So you test the concept very simply, and you test like one part of it. So if there were, let's say, 7 or 8 components in what you had to do, just test one thing. Get that ready. So if it was just, let's say, emptying the bags, so we're going to just have one piece that empties the bags into another hopper. That's the first step. We retest that. Once we retest that, then we move on to the next test, so the next piece. Because we don't want to build the whole rocket here and have nothing that works. That's important. And then things have to be built to talk to each other. So how Pizza HQ does it is pretty interesting. So they actually keep the love and the craft of making pizza and having it taste good while doing it in an automated fashion, but still keeping that craft in there. So how do they do that? Well, first of all, they have decided at some parts of the process, like, for example, when the pizza comes out of the machine that puts all the, let's say, the sauce, the different toppings on it, whether it's pepperoni, whether it's just cheese, and it comes out, there's a visual inspection to make sure that it's okay, and then somebody lifts it right into the oven. That's pretty cool, right? They make their dough by hand. I mean, they make the recipe by hand. They basically figure what they need, and they put it in a machine. When I say by hand, the machine mixes it, but they still have to pour it in, right? The different ingredients and things like that. And so Pizza HQ is able to use RPA technology to use machines we'll call it robotic process automation. So it's not a robot like, a robot sitting there and doing it. It's machines, it's sensors, data is being captured, the data is being reported back. The database has some values as to the different settings for how the cheese is going to be applied, the thickness, when we slice the pepperoni, how are we going to do that? So there's different settings. I'm not going to bore you with all that, but it's important to know what they are and to understand them, okay? And so when you think about this and you get something working right, you're always tweaking, right? But when the product is good enough that you can make and it's good, you're ready to go to a small scale. And then you're always tweaking. You're always trying to get your operation better. You're trying to, build it and make it with less cost. You're trying to make sure that you are delivering something that's quality every single time. And you want it to be easy, right? You want it to be easy. So you need to know, what are your costs? Are you paying for a machine up front? Are you leasing a machine? Are you doing what we call, it's basically called robotics as a service, RAAS, robotics as a service. Are you doing that? A lot of places have done that. So those are things you can look into. But you still got to understand what's involved. You have to understand, when you do this, what kind of space do you need? What kind of commitment do you need if you're leasing a machine? Whether you're, financing it or whether you're just leasing it for a certain period of time. What's the commitment? What's the opt-out? Like, how do you get out of this if you need to get out? I think that's a very important thing there. Hey, Ken, great to see you there. John C. Morley, may you have a delectable, scrumptiously, deliciously, edibly tasty, good, heartfelt Labor Day holiday celebration weekend. Same to you and your family, Ken. We're talking about an amazing topic, and that is how we can use RPA to increase our profits. But we're talking about the fact that RPA doesn't just work until you have done the research, till you figured out how to do it. That's probably the most important thing. So the way Pizza HQ does this is they keep their labor low. They don't have a lot of people. And as they grow, they need a few more people to do the boxing and stuff like that. But there's always processes that they can automate, right, as they grow. Right now, their most important thing is getting the pizza to be made as quickly as possible and then inspecting it and then putting it into the oven. And that is pretty cool, having a consistent low amount of waste and having a defined process using a specific recipe that is always going to be dead center every single time. The other good thing about using RPA is when you bring other staff members in, whether they've worked in a pizzeria or they've worked in other food establishments, they can quickly come on board to learn some of the techniques that have to be done. Since the machine does a lot of it, there are some things we learn there that they do by hand, but they're mostly done with machines, but with some, let's say, manual intervention. But when the pizza, let's say, gets put into the machine that scans it and puts all the stuff on it, that machine is all automated, but there's still the process of taking it from the dough maker, pressing it out, then putting it in, having it being scanned, going through the machine at the end, checking it, and then taking it to the next oven or where they're going to put it. So I feel that RPA is great. A lot of people fail in RPA. The reason is they get blown away by all the variables. So if you don't understand the variables, there's a couple things you can do. One, you can simplify it to get going. You can just automate what you need to. You can hire consultants. You can go to trade shows. You can ask questions. You can research. How can this be done? Machine manufacturers are more than happy to educate you. Why? Because if you like what they're talking about, guess what's going to happen? You're going to become, yes, their client. That's pretty amazing in itself, okay? And so when we think about this, we have to be cognizant of how do we make this work. And, when you have something, whether it's food or other things, in the food industry, we always have to, set things up. right? And then in the end, we have to take things down for health reasons, have to clean everything down. But in any kind of RPA process, we're talking about food. If we were talking about, let's say, doing something for payroll or doing something for an inventory system, let's say we're doing an RPA system that would automatically go out and scan the shelves and know when something's empty and automatically be able to report back and stock the shelves that are empty and gather the information. There's a lot of steps in that process. So we would do it by hand first, and we'd make sure we have the process defined really well. So one thing we have to do is we have to check the shelves. So we check the shelves, and we record the number of inventory items on those shelves. Okay, we track that. If we see an item that is on the shelves and it's less than what we say the supply should be, maybe there's maybe there's 4 on the shelf, and we say when there's less than 5, we're going to restock it to whatever the max is on that shelf, and we may know that that shelf holds 50 or whatever it is. And so then this data can be reported back to central reporting systems and dashboards, and it can really help simplify the process. I think that's just so amazing. And the whole goal, ladies and gentlemen, is when you do this, is to develop it in a responsible manner that is going to help your business, but is going to be the best for all parties concerned. Now, with RPA, you don't need as much staff, as we've said, but you still got to understand a little bit about technology, and you have to realize how your machine works. Maybe you got to get trained on it. There could be lots of things. So once you get trained on the machine, you become more, comfortable with not only the technology, but the process. So your process might have been manual first, and now you're using a machine to duplicate that process. Let me give you an example. Being in the media industry and printing and graphic design and video and all that, let's say we're making a book. Now, if we were making a book, and let's say we're printing it and we have to fold it. So now the process would be print it, and now we have to fold this here, fold this here. There's 2 steps, right? 1 or 2 steps. So now we know how to do it. Now it's easy to have a machine do that, or set up a machine folder to do that, because we have to know how we're going to fold it. We have to know those kinds of things. And people say, oh, we're just going to wing it. No, don't wing it. So I invite you guys to definitely check out BelieveMeChief.com. Check out my latest article that I just was talking to you about, and I think you guys are going to be really blown away with that article. I know I thought it was an amazing, amazing article. And let me know your thoughts, because AI is very popular, and it's called Using Robotic Process Automation to Increase Profits. And remember that RPA is not just scanners, motors, and things like that. It can be done with just software and gathering data. So it doesn't have to be anything that's like moving around. A lot of times RPA can just be gathering data from the software from other parts of other software and then bringing them together. So there's a lot. But RPA will lower your costs. It will make your waste minimal, consistent, and it will give you a quality, consistent product. That's the most important thing. Now, in the technology realm, when we talk about writing an RPA piece of software that doesn't produce a product, like a tangible product, it might produce a result, a calculation, it might produce a monitoring, or whatever it is. We have to know what that is, and then we can create the machine. Even in firewalls, there are different types of technology we can use in response systems that really are RPA, robotic process automation. Even though they're not robots, they're software and bots that are analyzing and going back and forth and being able to make decisions. That is pretty cool. I hope that you have had as much fun as I have this week, because this week has been a blast talking with you all about RPA, robotic process automation. I especially do want to thank the owners of Pizza HQ for allowing myself and Orbital Media to come in, our company, to interview them, to put these videos together. And we're still working with them on some other things. But I got to tell you that educating people about RPA is going to help businesses scale. Just don't think that you're going to go get an RPA solution and it's just going to work out of the box. You're going to have to do some work. Even if that solution was created to make ice cream or whatever it is, you're going to have to tailor it to your specific environment. I mean, that's just the nature of anything. So I have had so much fun talking with you guys this week, every single day, about robotic process automation. And even in the article, you'll see where I give a fictitious example where McDonald's or potentially, let's say, Jersey Mike's might want to set up, shop there. And they might want to set up 3 different places. Read the article and listen how I handle this and how RPA can do this all with just one kitchen. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, or should I say, the food out of the bag. I need you to read it and check in on it. But let me know. And if there's a topic you want me to cover in AI, if there is a specific topic you want me to cover in technology, let me know. I'll be happy to do that on a tech show. But on motivation, let me know. Is there something you want to know about business? Is there something you want to know about life? Is there something you want me to dive deeper in with you? I'll be happy to do that. And incidentally, if you're looking to be a guest, whether you're an author or you have a story that you'd like to share with my audience, please reach out to me. I don't accept everyone to come on because we have to make sure they're really stories and they're not people just trying to sell. Have yourself an amazing night. And if I don't catch you tomorrow, because you might be busy with the holidays, I definitely hope that you have an amazing Labor Day weekend. Have a safe, happy, and a healthy one. If I don't see you tomorrow, because tomorrow will be a brand new master topic. And then, I have so much more great stuff. So definitely stay tuned to BelieveMeAchieve.com because we are definitely rocking with content. I don't think anybody else creates more content than I do. We released the video that just came out this week, which was Science Fridays with John. And we had an amazing video that launched. The video that launched this week was actually entitled Understanding the Magnus Effect. I'm not going to tell you what that is. You're going to have to check that out. And also, on the motivational end, I was really happy. We did one that was really cool. Working hard versus working smart. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So if we work hard and not smart, we are going to not only burn ourselves out, but we're not going to get the results that we expect. And others are going to be disappointed. Have yourself an amazing night, everyone. And again, a happy, healthy, and a safe Memorial Day weekend. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. Be well and have a great night, everyone.